Recording. We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to the RINO podcast, the true place for normals, the only safe space on the internet where if you're a thinking and analytical human being, you can come and find solace with us, myself, Caitlin. Good morning. Sipping coffee.
Yeah, you got the cold coffee.
It's delicious.
Ironically or unironically, I'm doing the hot coffee today.
It's so hot outside that you want to stay inside in the air conditioning and have hot coffee because going out in the muggy weather to Starbucks is unappealing.
Well, Starbucks is one of my favorite places. I might go there later, but I already had like two cups. I don't know.
This is a lot.
Might go get an iced tea. I actually do like the iced teas at Dunkin'.
Iced teas are good. I know everybody in Massachusetts is a Dunkin'. Dunkin'.
Fanatic.
But it's
a cultist. Yeah. Let's go there.
Yeah. Starbucks has a superior iced coffee. They have perfected iced coffee. It is fantastic.
That's why I keep telling people, and they're like, no, Dunks. And I'm like, you only go to Dunks because this is Massachusetts.
Yeah. This, though, I made it this morning, is Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons iced coffee, or coffee, is greater than both, and making it an iced coffee is fantastic. It's absolutely
Tim Hortons is good.
Yeah.
Very right. Canadian.
Enough about that.
When we invade Canada to get the
let's
oil.
Take the oil and the coffee. We'll take the oil and the Tim Hortons. Oh, Caitlin. We've got much to discuss since our last episode. Did you know? Did you know democracy's at stake this year? Democracy itself. If the Democratic Party doesn't win elections, democracy itself is at stake.
I'm just old, Jeff. Like the thing is like I'm old, right? Like I remember 2000, 2004. I remember those elections where democracy was at stake too, apparently in Florida, the hanging chads, and then voting machines in Ohio in 2004. Where some of the current Democratic Party was still in power at that time and decided to not approve George W. Bush's electoral votes during that count. But apparently these people, they protect democracy. That's what they're doing. Do we want to start off with a debate, Jeff? Because I feel like it's been a domino effect since...
Okay, so no, we can't start with the debate specifically because I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I've been predicting for a long time that I didn't think Joe Biden
That's right.
would be the nominee. Now, call it a gut instinct, but it's just if you've been paying attention. We mentioned this on the Patreon episode briefly. And by the way, go patreon.com/RINOPod, only $1 a month. Our friend Damin Toll, who we'll tag after, put this up on Twitter. That oh crap, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, but we on the right consume news of the left, right? Largely because a lot of the news out there is of the left, and that people on the left don't consume anything on the right. They have no idea what the right is thinking. But if you've been alive and paying attention and seeing the clips on Twitter, just being on Twitter and being center right, you will have been seeing the clips of Joe Biden walking like a Roomba all over the stage, messing up his words, doing this for years now. Not months.
I'm actually reading
years.
Yeah, I'm reading Damon's tweet on this right now. Sorry, I missed it, guys. I'm in the middle of grad school, this grad school class that I'm taking, and so I have been kind of on, just trying to be funny, and then because apparently my funny tweets have been going viral recently.
Yeah, you got some good ones.
But anyway, I think Damin, what he's saying here is correct. Right-wingers are fully aware of what non-right-wing media outlets say. Libs often have absolutely no idea what goes on in right-wing media. They have no understanding of what right-wingers actually think. This is part of why it's so shocking to them now that anyone would question Biden's competence. They haven't seen a million photos or a million videos of Biden mumbling and trailing off and lumbering around and looking lost. They didn't know that he gets fed questions in advance. 2 weeks ago, libs would have called it all fake news and cheap fakes, but right wingers have known this stuff for years. Despite positioning themselves as educated ones in the room, libs so often have absolutely horrendous media literacy. Yeah. I agree with that point of view. And the reason why I agree with that point of view, Jeff, is that I subscribe to both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. Both. How many liberals subscribe, who are not in business, by the way, how many liberals subscribe to the Wall Street Journal?
Very few, if any.
I read CNN. I do.
Yeah.
I read CNN. How many liberals read Fox News?
Oh, none.
None.
Yeah. No, but that's it. And that's why I predicted that I don't think Biden will be the nominee. Because that can't hold. What's been going on for years now can't hold. And
there's no
it
center,
broke at the
right?
debate. It broke at the debate. So it's not like I'm Nostradamus and I get to say that Biden won't be the nominee. It's just like the center of gravity, the gravity moving towards the situation is the man can't handle the job. And all you needed is one watershed moment, which we had last week on Thursday with the debate. That's what took place. Okay,
well,
it was exposed. It was like which
right.
is why Damin was right that like their minds are melting right now because they can't understand that one, they've been lied to, or this is happening, and now it's like we're in this in between point with them negotiating with themselves over now. Let's stick it out, and it's kind of I do think it's like after the week after January 6th, where for on our side there is a parallel where everybody's like, holy shit, he incited a riot, and then of course the Democrats overshot and said no, it was an insurrection, it was a coup. And people are like, well, no, it wasn't that. But like, and then they rallied back and they pulled back. And the people who were ready to fucking
the dumbest coup and insurrection ever.
And then the people who were correctly like, this is really bad, let's get rid of him, let's impeach him and go. All of a sudden they pulled back because the Dems overstepped as usual and exaggerated and were being fabulous and the whole and hysterical. And then it was like rally round. But this time, this is different. And here's the difference now. Republicans and Trump, and you've pointed this out on Twitter, are shutting up. We're all just quiet, and we're letting you guys think it. And now, and now it's this battle between stick it out and Biden, hold the line, which, but everybody behind the scenes knows he's got to go.
Yes. So, I pointed out, last Sunday or Monday that Donald Trump has surprisingly kept his mouth fucking shut for the first time in years, and is allowing Democrats to, make mistakes, because even the most MAGA Republican could admit that Donald Trump sometimes puts his foot in his mouth and he gets in the way of the narrative. Okay. In this case, since the debate, and Jeff, I watched the debate. I was not going to watch the debate. Okay.
Same. I just kind of put it on.
My mom was in town during that period, and my mom, although she's a hardcore Republican, was not going to watch it until she got home so she could watch it with my dad. And I was just doing skincare one night and I was like, it's about that time. Why don't I just I put it on my phone. I watched it on YouTube.
Same.
And the opening 5 minutes, I think I DM'd you all. I was like, oh my God, this is worse than I thought it would be.
Yep.
This is worse than I thought it would be. He sounds awful. He looks terrible. And he is mumbling like this is worse than I thought, because the thing is, Jeff, like as Republicans, we're used to Democrats somehow pulling it out, right? We're used to that. Even Biden, we're somehow used to them pulling it out and having these incredible PR campaigns where they're able to coax the media into their narrative and all of this stuff. When this happened, you couldn't. It was at the forefront. That was Biden. And there's Donald Trump to Biden's right. And we saw him on the left side of the screen. But even I think Donald Trump, watching Biden's performance and even debating against him, he was unusually subdued. Did you notice that?
Well, he was, I call it, it's relative. Believe me, this is all relative. You know, he was disciplined for Trump. Okay.
Right.
And
well,
he did his whole thing. Everything was like, oh, we had the best economy. We had the greatest border. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, that's just him. It's, you know, and everybody coming out of it was like, well, he lied. He lied about everything. It's like, are you really going to get into me with lies with Joe Biden? It's like, stop. They have no ability to recognize where they are without the context of Trump. These people are broken. Their brains are broken. This is why when they're so hysterical about democracy is on the ballot this year, it's not. Partisan control of two of the three branches of government, and I guess three, partisan control of the government is what's at stake. That's it. And you know what? If you stick with Biden, Trump will probably win, and you have a good shot at getting back control in 4 years and getting back control of Congress, too, after that if you lose control of Congress. That's it. We're at this horrible state where everything's done by executive order, legislation isn't being passed, all of these things that are against the constitutional order, and that's it. The one major difference will be what Trump will do at the border, and your lives will be markedly improved, even liberal ones. So just stop. It's just childish. These people are children. Elizabeth Warren just flailing about, ranting hysterically on Twitter. They have ratcheted everything up to 11 over and over and over again. Now nobody cares, and you're seeing that. You're seeing that play out in real time. And it's just
but I also think it's nobody cares because they're so fatigued from all of that.
Yeah.
But I also think that Biden's at the forefront. And the American public are finally seeing exactly what's going on, and it's very clear, and it's straightforward. Like, if I were to get my full real feelings about watching that debate, okay, I did say I was like Donald Trump was subdued. You could say it's message discipline. I think maybe a combination of that, but Donald Trump is standing next to Joe Biden, and at one point he says in the debate, and it was a funny moment because it's Donald Trump, and he says it in the way that it's funny. He says, I don't know what he just said, and I don't think he knows what he just said either.
Yeah, that was it. Game over.
But it's what I kind of say on Twitter, my line. It's funny, but not funny. Like, it's funny in the sense it's like, this is absurd and it's happening in American politics right now, but it's also not funny because Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are currently watching this debate, or at least their people are, and they're giving them reports. And
we are
that in our position in the world right now, where we're funding Ukraine and Israel, and we're in a position where we're funding both of these countries because they're in a military conflict. We're in a military conflict and supporting them right now because of our American weakness on the world stage. Liberals can argue all day long that we're strong. I actually do believe that the American people are a strong people, okay? We elect a lot of dipshits, but the will of the American people, I will always have a belief in our success and progress.
Correct.
But it's the motivating factors behind these electeds that are causing this. Liberals don't believe in a strong foreign policy, but right now they're saying that, there's success in Ukraine because we're funding them. Vladimir Putin wouldn't be in Ukraine if the United States was in a strong position because he would be scared to fucking even mess with people.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's not. That's the point. That's the point with Xi Jinping and like Taiwan as well, and the rest of the South Pacific. What I saw during that debate, it's funny, but also not funny because that's what's leading our country right now.
My daughter,
And
yeah.
when I the next day after that talk to people that I talk to on a regular basis, come up to me and want to discuss the debate, and it's like, Caitlin, did you watch Biden? They didn't talk about Trump at all. They did not talk about Trump once when they came up. Their entire discussion was, did you see Joe Biden last night? Mm-hmm. Within the first 10 minutes of that debate, it was over. And Democrats could not argue that Joe Biden had a handle on what was going on that night. You can't say that he has a cold, because no one fucking believes that at the end of June. You can't say that he, was traveling around the world 12 days before. Wasn't like the concept of him traveling the world 12 days before and he hasn't been able to come back from that 12 days later is also concerning.
Yeah. Like there's no good excuses.
There was no good excuses. And I think that this debate was I don't want to say turning point, but it was a point of convergence where the Dems could not lie about what's going on anymore.
Well, they've been lying about everything for a while now. They're telling you, no, don't believe the reality in your life. We're telling you the economy is good. Look at these numbers. It's like, does it feel good to you? Like, why are things harder? And people will think back to how it was when Trump was in office, and they'll be like, the tweets weren't that bad. And you become desensitized to it. And maybe that's not a good thing overall, and there's an erosion of what we expect from our public figures. And I agree with that. But what are you going to do? Like, Biden the reality on the ground is he spent us into a really bad predicament in 2021 that jumped up inflation like crazy, which is why the economy is struggling now, in the sense that inflation still hasn't been tamped down as much as it needs to be. Wages haven't caught up, and that's why people are feeling the pinch. And immigration is
decreases. That the thing with the economy is Jeff, is if we have not had rate decreases, like they've not taken off percentages off the current rates, then Biden, they don't have a hold on this. Like, that's just
but they don't. The rates, in my opinion, still need to stay high. I think inflation is still needs to be done.
No. I think that is a responsible move by Powell and the Fed. Yeah. I think that the current government is not doing enough to. Do you see what I'm saying? In the terms of the spending is out of control, and finally, some people there's rumblings of like, hey, we really need to get the spending under control. Okay, we'll cover that on another episode. But immigration, the economy, those are the top two issues. Biden is failing on that. And let me say this. So look, those immigration will be reversed on day one if Trump gets elected. So you're not going to get a lot of. You're not going to sell me on the democracy is at stake thing. Well, even though you never, but you're not going to sell most people on the democracy is at stake. They don't care because they know you're liars and exaggerate, and you're hysterical. When Ayanna Pressley, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, all of them, democracy is at stake. They know it's not real. They don't believe you, and they know that's not true. So when you say that over and over again, it falls on deaf ears. They know that if Trump gets in, the immigration issues largely, I won't say go away, but they immediately go in the other direction, and maybe you have a shot at a better economy. That's it. Right.
That's it.
Well,
now, what
you also see a lot of like Wall Street guys shifting over to Trump. Like, they weren't doing that in 2020. They're doing it now, and they're doing it openly. Like, that's the thing. Like, everything before was like, are you voting for Trump? Keep it a secret, blah, blah, blah. No, like, they're openly being like, we're supporting Trump. This cannot go on.
Mm-hmm. So you have that situation. Let's get into, the politics of it are very simple from where I sit. And why I've said here's the weird part. I thought they would. I didn't know how it would take place that he wouldn't be the nominee, but I'd say there's probably a 40% chance that he's not the nominee.
Well, he's currently not surviving this weekend of bad press very well.
So a couple of things. Rob Eno, who works at Blaze TV, who I knew from Mass Politics before he moved down there, he's like, they're going to use the 25th Amendment on him this weekend. And I'm like, there is zero chance that's happening this weekend. Like, I know you said you think he wouldn't survive the weekend. I'm like, he's going to survive the weekend. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't think he's going to survive the weekend in the fact that they're going to start making decisions on whether or not he's the nominee. I think that he could.
Correct. Yeah.
I think he could stay as president because I think that even. Okay. Kamala Harris is painfully cringy, right? Like she is painfully cringy. Like when I listen to her, she is not a good world leader. She, out of everybody, she doesn't even read the advanced books and she has no idea what the fuck is going on. Like when it comes to Kamala Harris, I think Dems are concerned about whether or not she can lead the country. And this is getting leaked to the media for the first time ever. And like,
I don't no, I disagree. I don't
really?
They don't give a shit. They care if she can win. They care if she can win.
But she can't because like
I don't know. Hang on. I don't know that. I don't know that. Okay.
But they are running probably scenarios in the bottom of the DNC about polling scenarios and on these people because they're releasing them, Jeff. Like we've seen the polling scenarios in the last week where it's like Trump versus Biden, and it goes down almost 7 points now in the New York Times. Like that was an insane shift. Okay. But you're also seeing it with Kamala Harris. I forgot which poll it was where it's like Trump +3. Like
exactly. Now, here's why most in the middle voters don't really know much about her. They're not like they're not like us. They're like Damin Toll was talking about. Like they just live their lives. They watch, Real Housewives or the Red Sox. Like they don't pay attention. They're not on Twitter seeing all the cringy videos that we see. They're not.
But
they are protected. They're hidden from
them. I feel like liberals only watch liberal media. They do not. They don't have a level of. It's not even like the clips and all of that stuff, right? Like Damon's point is that like right wingers watch the clips, but they also engage with liberal media because they have to because the media is overwhelmingly liberal. Liberals instead have their polarization is so hardcore that they cannot comprehend the fact that their candidates suck.
The media, the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, and ABC News and NBC News, the whole lot, all the newspapers will run so much cover for her. She will be the most touted, the most accomplished, the most qualified. It will be. I
don't know if that's going to be the case at this current moment in this inflection point. Like that's my thing. I think that you're going to see some of that, right? Like I very much agree that you're going to see some of that. But I think that this has been such a clusterfuck for the Dems with the fallout from that debate that they're not going to be able to put a full Band-Aid on this because the American people are getting smart to what's going on.
Now, Kaylin, what do you always tell me?
What
do the Dems do every November?
What?
They come home.
They do. I mean, the 47% is coming.
And they no, because with Biden, I'd say 2 to 3% of that'll stay home. With Kamala.
Or they're voting for like Jill Stein.
Yeah. No,
or RFK Jr.
They will come home and it'll come out to ground effort. And I do not think that I think Kamala beats Trump. She is a generic Democrat.
I don't know.
Reinvent her as the second coming of Obama. They will do whatever they can to get her over the finish line. They will shut her up. They will script her. All her past videos will be won't be scrubbed, but will be buried. It won't matter that we see all the cringy stuff that we see on Twitter because it won't make it to the average voter. They will see a younger, on her face, accomplished and attractive individual vice president. It will happen. I mean, look, I'm still saying that it's just it has to the switch has to go.
I don't know if I agree with that point. Okay, because I think that Obama was able to build his image and the narrative surrounding him carefully over time. And the Dems consolidated around him in 2008, like really hardcore. I don't know if Kamala is going to be able to have that same thing. I think the ship is leaky right now, and Dems are not used to that. And I think that even if somehow they do a switcheroo, which they could, I mean, Biden's right now saying only like Jesus Christ is going to pull me out of this race. It is pretty bad. I don't know if Kamala is going to have the ability to turn over some sort of narrative on her, because her approval ratings even before were super bad. I just don't know.
It's wiped clean. The approval ratings, the approval ratings, but once she would be, it would, and by the way, it would have to be her. Like there are too many mechanisms in party politics and in government for it not to be her. For it to be Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer, you'd have to have an open convention. You'd have to address the identity politics of throwing Kamala under the bus and pushing her aside, which ain't going to happen anyway. Like it, plus the money situation, because it's the Biden-Harris campaign that's been raising all this stuff, right? So,
wow.
So there's actual infrastructure in place that makes it near impossible for it to be open. Not saying it can't happen, like because the Democratic Party would just change the rules on the hat, on a dime. Sorry, and so all things are on the table, but most likely it's Biden till November or Kamala at convention. No, over the next few weeks, we see they convince him. They wear it down. They go, Hunter and Jill are in his ear going, no, don't do it. No, don't do it. And then like, they're not in the room for a minute. And like, it comes in and like, you know what I mean? Like it'll just, suddenly he'll be like, I will finish out my term and I instruct my delegates to either vote for, either open it up or I pull my full support behind Vice President Harris. And there you go. And once that happens, I just think the media push will be enough to get her over the line.
Ironically,
where it counts, I don't see, and this is where it comes down to states.
You're talking about this right now, Stephen Miller, Red Stees.
Yeah.
New York Times, the reintroduction of Kamala Harris. I just don't know if that's
who knows if come on, folks. Come on.
I think they're going to try. It's the New York Times. Yeah. I think that a lot of liberal commentators are going to try. I just don't know if it's going to seem genuine and authentic. With 2008, with Obama, there was part of his image and narrative formation. There was he looked more authentic and came off more authentic than a lot of the.
Look,
I just don't know if she can pull that off.
Obama, no, look, she doesn't have to. Obama was a once-in-a-generation political talent. He was a great politician. I just disagree vehemently with a lot of his policies. But as far as his political expertise of, like, working with, understanding electoral politics, he's very, very good, which is why he was a two-term president and got elected. And first black president in U.S. history. I mean, like, once in a generation. Harris is not that, okay? But she doesn't need to be that. And we're looking at it through the lens of, conservative Republicans who are inside the bubble and see Twitter and see how awful she is. She doesn't need to do that. There's going to be one debate where she just has to be cool, say her lines eloquently, and she's capable of doing that, and just look at him and go, oh, please stop. And then it'll be over and it'll be ground game. And then he doesn't win Pennsylvania. And then he doesn't.
I don't know if he wins
Pennsylvania. He doesn't win Pennsylvania. He doesn't win Michigan. And that's the ball game.
I don't know if she can pull I don't know if she can pull off Pennsylvania. She could probably pull off Michigan.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think they're going to try that. I just don't know if it's going to work. That's what I'm not convinced of at this current moment, because I just
Oh,
see.
nobody. I mean, nobody's. Look, I'm not convinced. I just it's my speculation. I mean, I just this
I
is
think
the
they
third
could.
time.
If
This is
they
the third
really,
time voters will have Donald Trump on the ballot, and a
yeah.
brand new face, relatively speaking. Now, she could fall apart and say something ridiculous and do the cackle at the wrong time and turn off 2% of the electorate. That's entirely possible, but not as likely given the scenarios. So I I just think, I mean, honestly, if you're a Republican and want Republican control of the government in a few months, you want Joe Biden to stay in the race.
That's true.
That's it.
My
That's it.
personal
And
opinion
I'm
is
and I'm kind of
I want
there.
Joe Biden as the nominee.
I'm cool with that. Like, you want, no, stick it out with Biden. Believe me. And by the way, to get Harris as the nominee wouldn't be that heavy a lift for them to do it. They would just have to convince Joe Biden to be like finish out your term and open up the convention. Ask your delegates to go for Harris. That's not that hard. It's just convincing him to do it. And he's what?
Yeah.
He's 94 years old. It shouldn't be that hard. All right. Anything else on this? I mean, this is, democracy is not at stake, folks. All right.
No, so calm down.
Look, even if we do sweep it in 24, the Dems will probably win it back in, the 26 in the midterms. Like, just stop. Just stop. And for Robert De Niro and the morons who'll be like, he's going to make himself a dictator. It's like, he left in January of 2021. He will leave in January of 2029. If, he'll be old
after
too.
the dumbest insurrection that we have ever witnessed in our
Stop
lives.
it. And it's like, and if you're that worried about, like, if he's still in power in February of 2029 for some crazy kooky reason, yeah, it's time to get your guns. But it won't be, so just settle down. Okay?
Yeah.
Calm
it down, guys.
Yeah. It's not just enough with the hysterics.
Take it easy.
And a quick shout out to, like, the true hysteric on Facebook for all the boomer libs out there. Heather Cox Richardson, who has blocked me on Twitter because I once called her out on her ridiculous post office conspiracy of 2020.
I remember that.
Yep. And she's like, this is the thing. Oh, you should, your lib family members, your boomer lib family members will quote her like she is the oracle of all politics. She's out of her mind. Even so much so, she hasn't been on, like, she was on WGBH and local TV and radio over early on in, I guess towards the end of Trump's term. And she has been, like, sidelined. You do not see her because they know she's out of her fucking gourd, but they still quote her like she knows what she's talking about. Hysterics. Anyway, and I called her hysterical and she blocked me, but it was worth it because they are hysterical. These people just they live in this world that does not exist. All right. Well, more to come. We shall see. Head on over to patreon.com/RhinoPod where we discuss Project 2025 and how awesome it is. No, basically just the Facebook meme that's been going around, the meme that you've seen. We break that down. So check it out. Only $1 a month. Patreon.com/RhinoPod. And we will, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.